so that we get more people to join.
Of course. Dr. Samuel, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. John.
Hey, how are you?
When are you coming to Dar es Salaam? We're waiting for you.
I'm coming. Thank you, Doctor, for joining. This is a very interesting session, and I'm happy you are joining.
There's quite a lot of other interested parties who have joined, which is good.
Very. Mr. Hartwig.
Yeah.
Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well. Nice to see all of you there.
Let's see. Where are you based?
Well, you don't know me, and I don't know you yet. But from time to time, I get your information papers online. And well, my connection is just that I have a renewable energy, solar energy company, and some relations to East Africa, mainly Tanzania. So I'm always looking for opportunity to doing something reasonable in the agricultural area with energy.
Very good. We are happy, and you are the right people we are looking for.
Okay.
Indeed, because we need to look at potential investors in sectors like renewable energy, sectors like wheat, sectors like edible oil. So because we have all the potential, Dr. Samuel is here, we have all the potential, but we have not exploited our potential. And that's the essence of having this study to look at we profiled the investment opportunities. We looked at the challenges, but opportunities, mainly the opportunities. And we are looking for investors like yourself across the region, and we'll facilitate you to establish in East Africa.
Yeah. Well, I'm just mainly interested in solutions for handling things in agriculture, like of course irrigation, drying, and so all these things where you need energy. And I have many friends who are directly in the agricultural area. I'm just in the energy area. That's all.
Oh, very good.
Frank, how are we doing?
I just advised that we give each other up to 10 minutes past 10, then we can begin so that people can join.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I've requested participants to use the chat room to introduce themselves and their organization, also put down their contacts that we can reach out to them.
Hello.
Very good. And maybe you will also ask the consultant to share the study, national focal points, because this is more than a webinar. We are looking at the potential investor in those sectors that we've identified.
Das wusste ich nicht. Ja, dann geht das nicht. Ja, das muss ich wissen, ja. Ja, nee, wenn ich es gewusst hätte, hätte ich gar kein Gespräch geführt, ne, aber das ist klar. Das ist natürlich blöd. Das tut mir sehr leid. Ja, wenn ich es gewusst hätte, ja. Konntest mir auch keinen Tipp geben zwischendurch, ne?
Nee, ich habe
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. So my name is Frank Daffa. I represent the East Africa Business Council. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to our webinar today on profiling investment opportunities in East Africa selected value chains. So just a few rules for our webinar today. For purposes of more communication and clarity, I request each and everyone to make sure their mics are muted, and you raise your hand in case you want to ask a question or to give your contribution when we allow that time to come. But also let me take the opportunity to recognize the consultant who is with us, Dr. Catherine, and she'll be given an opportunity to present later on. For now, I will share the program for the event. So we'll be having a few welcoming remarks from the CEO of EABC, Mr. John Bosco Kalisa. Also, I believe we are joined by Mr. Michael Kleinbab from GIZ Business Scouts for Development, who will also make remarks. Unfortunately, we could not get the EAC Secretariat Trade Department to participate because they have other commitments today, but they have forwarded their greetings to us, and they are wishing us all the best in this discussion. So after these remarks, we are going to have a presentation from the consultant. So for the time being, let me take the opportunity to welcome Mr. John Bosco Kalisa for his opening remarks. Sorry, sir, you are muted. We cannot hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that. Good morning, colleagues, members of EABC, our development partners, GIZ, Business Scout, and good morning to our consultant, Catherine, who have done quite a commendable work in terms of profiling investment opportunities in a selected agricultural value chain. Allow me, first of all, to acknowledge and appreciate the support given by honorable member from East African Legislative Assembly, who will be joining us. Also recognize the support from EAC Secretariat, who have worked closely with us in terms of coming up with this interesting study. The representative from ministries, department and agencies, our national EABC national focal point. I see my elder brother Samuel Nyantahe, karibu sana. The representative from SEQUA, GIZ SEQUA, and also I see a number of investors, including Hartwig, who is also very keen to share his views in terms of the investment opportunities, but also EABC members, the board members present, all protocols observed. It is indeed a pleasure, and I take this opportunity to thank you all for availing you in this very busy schedule to join us in this webinar when we are talking about investment opportunities in a selected agricultural value chain in the EAC. Allow me also to take this opportunity to thank the government of Germany, again through SEQUA and the GIZ Business Scouts for development program for their support in terms of conducting this important study as part of the project on enhancing competitiveness of agriculture, food industry in the selected agricultural sector, and also look at the mitigation instrument we can use to wither or to mitigate the impact of the global crisis to improve food security in the EAC. Ladies and gentlemen, it is always important to maybe give a context in terms of the sector. Agriculture is one of the key sectors in the EAC. It contributes average around 30% of our GDP. It employs more than 70% of our population. And I was looking at its contribution in terms of industry. Almost 70% of our industry in the EAC are agro-based industries. It is the main source of inputs, raw materials, but also it is one of the drivers of our intra-regional trade. When you look at the numbers, our intra-regional trade, almost 70% of it, what we trade amongst ourselves as the EAC, agriculture contributes a lot. So looking at that, this is an important sector, but we have not given it aspect in terms of production, productivity, as well as addressing some of the barriers that impede the free flow of agricultural products across our border. So the purpose of this webinar is to look at those value chains that have been selected, where we have the potential in terms of comparative and competitive advantage that we can produce those products and be able to feed our people. It is, I always say, it is really a shame to see that when there is a Russia-Ukraine conflict, in my view, it should be a silver lining opportunity. When there is a conflict in those countries, East Africa or Africa suffers. And yet we talk about 60% of our land being arable land. Whatever we can cultivate can be produced. So we need to change and transform that paradigm in terms of how we do business. We need to ensure that when we are doing agriculture, we are doing it for business, not for subsistence consumption. So there are a lot of initiative, a lot of efforts, but we realize that the negative spillover effects the Russia-Ukraine, and also coupled with climate change and COVID conflict, has had a detrimental impact on our lives and livelihood. It has increased our poverty levels. I was looking at the numbers. More than 30, almost 30 million of our population go to bed hungry. So we need to ensure that we are innovative. We need to ensure that we address this issue by addressing those supply side constraints that impede the production as well as the movement of the agricultural produce from the surplus area to deficit area. When you talk to the farmers, the producers and investors, one of the biggest challenge they've highlighted one was the lack of quality seeds, lack of quality inputs. That has come out strongly. The second one has been access to patient capital in agriculture. The third one that is very critical has been trade facilitation, NTBs, barriers at our borders. They frustrate our producers, our traders, our distributors of agricultural produce. And another issue that has been the storage facilities. When you look at the post-harvest losses, it accounts for almost 40% of the total produce. We need to ensure that we provide modern agriculture storage facilities to our farmers. But we need also to come up with innovative instruments like our weather index insurance, where we need to provide insurance to the farmers who are producing. Otherwise, some of these catastrophes tend to frustrate or hinder the farmers to continue to engage in the sector. And finally, the biggest issue has been that the labor, a number of youths now are moving into urban areas because they look at the rural areas, the labor movement, the rural-urban migration is one of also big challenges that is affecting agriculture sector, because now the labor in the rural areas is becoming very expensive because the youth believe that the opportunities are not in the rural areas, but the opportunities are in the urban areas. So we must make it deliberate that agriculture in the rural areas provides opportunities for youth to remain in the rural areas and they generate employment through modern agriculture. So with that, allow me again to thank and appreciate our consultant and also GIZ, Business Scout and SEQUA for supporting us to come up with this profiling. And again, we would be very happy and keen to get your views, your ideas, how best we can promote and invest in those selected value chain. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very productive deliberation. Asante sana.
Thank you, CEO, for those remarks. Let me take the opportunity now to invite the representative from GIZ, Mr. Michael, if you are there.
Yes, I'm here. Can you see me as well? Yes, good morning. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Kleinbub. I'm a business scout in Rwanda, and I was asked to give some remarks on behalf of the business scouts, but also of GIZ, of course. I will share a small presentation just to be sent then afterwards by Frank to you, to all of you, so that you see, let's say, who we are and who is in the region, especially because I'm not alone here. I'm in Rwanda, but I have, of course, colleagues in Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda who are willing to support you. Thank you, John, for the introduction. All what you said is very, very true and very, very important. And I can say on behalf of the business scouts, of course, that we not only, let's say, support these series of webinars, for example, and the consulting to do these studies, we are also very interested, let's say, in the follow-up to support and to work together with companies. Some of you may already have heard that, and on behalf of SEQA, I don't know if someone of SEQA is going to come here, but on behalf of SEQA, I can already say that they are, of course, interested in working together with the business associations, maybe also your members on one side. On our side, I can say we are very much interested to work together, of course, with investors or companies who are willing to cooperate with us. We have, for example, in case you know that already, maybe some of you know it, a program which is called Develop with 3 Ps in the end, and the dot and the DE. You will find the web page where we offer a matching grant for companies where we are able to frame, let's say, these investments investors are going to do. For Rwanda, because I'm in Rwanda, I can say we have a quite big already portfolio in the agriculture and agro-processing. And the companies we work with, they all face these problems you just mentioned. And I think whoever is going to come wherever to Rwanda or to East Africa, let's say, from outside on the one side, but also investors from the region, of course, are welcomed in all of these countries. We are really keen to support you with what is offered by the German Development Corporation. And in case you are interested and you have, let's say, companies who are willing to work together with us, please tell them that we are there. We are here 4 colleagues in the region. And we have a network of another 35 business scouts in Germany who are working in the different chambers, in the umbrella organizations of the German economy, and so on and so on. And all of them are willing to help to get you in touch with the networks and also to see how to support companies in case they would like to invest or do projects in the region. This said, I wish you all the best for this webinar. I hope many of you to come back to me in Rwanda, especially the colleagues here who are from Rwanda. Yes, I would like to be in touch with all of you. And the same, of course, is for my colleagues in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda. They all will be very happy to support you. And I will share also their contacts in this small presentation I will send to Frank afterwards. And he will share to you. There are some hints for programs where you can have a look already on, and also the contact details of our colleagues. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best for this day, and I hope there are many, many interesting hints for investments. And well, all the best. Thank you very much. And in case you have any questions, of course, you can come back to me anytime. Also now in the frame of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for those wonderful remarks. So without any further ado, let me take the opportunity to welcome Dr. Catherine. But while she's preparing her presentation, let me call on the investment authorities that are here. I have received a presentation from TIC. According to our program, after the consultant has presented the findings, we'll give an opportunity to investment promotion agencies that are in this meeting to give a brief presentation on the same opportunities that are there in the agricultural value chains. So in case you'll be making the presentation, please write to me on the chat box so that I can identify you immediately after the presentation from the consultant. So Dr. Catherine, you're welcome.
Thank you, Frank, for that invitation. I just want to first appreciate. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As I prepare to share my screen, I don't know if you can see it.
We can't see the presentation.
You can.
Catherine, we can't see the presentation. You can. You need to enlarge it a bit. It was coming and it is.
Okay, let me first share that. Just a minute.
And you are breaking. It seems your internet is not stable.
Just let me know when you can see it. I'm still trying to share again. Is that now visible?
Yes, it is. It is. But please try to put it in enlargement mode.
Wow.
Just click that button from the beginning. You can.
I first stop sharing. Should I first stop sharing?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Because here I have like a full screen.
It's fine. You proceed. Proceed.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much. Sorry for that small hiccup. Dr. Catherine Tindiwensi. I'm based in Kampala. I'm an agribusiness development consultant. I want to first appreciate East African Business Council for giving me this assignment. It was very interesting, and we've also come out of it when we are more informed. So today I'm pleased to present to you the findings, and we are looking at mainly the investment opportunities in the agricultural value chains in the East African community partner states. And I will take you through a very brief introduction. Then we'll remind ourselves of the significance of the agricultural value chains. We also look at the operating environment. This is in the interest of the investors for them to appreciate the operating environment as far as investment is concerned in the East African community. We also look at the actual investment opportunities that we identified in the selected value chains, the challenges, but most of these challenges could actually be turned into opportunities themselves. Then we draw conclusions and we give some recommendations. So this study sought out profile investment opportunities in selected agricultural value chains. And specifically, we focused on the edible oil. Edible oil was also brought. It had palm oil, we have soybean, we have sunflower, then we have wheat grain, fertilizers value chain, the tubers. Here we focused mainly on Irish and cassava and leguminous plants, especially beans and groundnuts. And in conducting this study, it was predominantly a desk review, where we did in-depth review of the available literature, and we dive deep into the investment climate, the kind of incentives that are provided by each of the partner states, and some of the ongoing initiatives.
Sorry, Doctor. Sorry to interrupt. The slides that you're showing here on the screen is showing slide number 10. Can you maybe try to refresh and project the slide that you are currently presenting? Yes.
Just a minute. Let me. So there is a way we are not synchronized.
Or if you are willing, I can project from my end, and I'll try to go
from
with
that side. I think,
okay.
Yeah, let's, yeah, there could be. I don't know what could have happened. I think.
Okay, I think you are on this slide.
I was, yes, maybe if you can make it bigger.
Okay, just give me a minute.
You first close this sides, and so that we can have it in a bigger one. It's still small.
Maybe you just keep it. You read from your computer, but I will follow.
Slideshow mode.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, you read from your computer. I will follow up with you. Just.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think that's fine then. Okay. Yeah, so I was on the third slide, which is basically the introduction, and I was giving you a brief about the methodology that we used. This was predominantly desk review, and we did in-depth review of the available literature on the specific value chains, and we looked deeper into the investment climate, the incentives for investment that exist in each of the partner states, and the related initiatives. Then we also collected primary data from the government departments, the value chain stakeholders, and the value chain actors. And I appreciate those of you who may be online that participated in this study and gave us the information that we needed. The next slide, we are basically looking at the significance of agriculture. This is what is at the back of the mind of the East African Business Council in promoting the agricultural value chains. You can see the contribution of GDP in all the partner states is significant, and Burundi it is the highest, and maybe DRC, Congo, but we can see that it ranges between 18% to about 28%, and that is a big contribution, which means that this kind of investment opportunities would play a big role in spurring economic development in the East African region. Now, to be more specific, when you look at the wheat grain value chain, we found that about 70% of the wheat is grown in East African countries is grown in Kenya. But we also have some production going on in Uganda and Tanzania. Of course, we import most of the wheat from Russia and Ukraine, and what is happening at the international scene has implications. Therefore, producing the wheat in the country would have now a better advantage. Then we look at the edible oil. Tanzania and Uganda were leading producers of sesame, soybean, sunflower, and palm oil. In terms of the fertilizers value chain, most of the fertilizers are also imported through Dar es Salaam and the Mombasa port, but East Africa has reserves for fertilizer raw materials, especially in the form of natural gas and phosphorus. And these exist in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Uganda, and Rwanda. And you can see, for example, Tanzania has huge reserves for the fertilizer raw materials in the form of natural gas to the tune of 1,614 trillion cubic meters. That's quite substantial. Then we have tubers. Kenya and Tanzania, the leading producers of potatoes, and the Democratic Republic of Congo is the main producer of cassava. Then for the leguminous plants, Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda were the leading producers of beans, and groundnuts also produced in DRC and Tanzania. So we see Tanzania leading in production. It does not mean that the other countries do not produce, but probably they do not produce as much in comparison. And in terms of the operating environment, we can largely say that the environment is very favorable for investment. And in terms of economic environment, this is the fastest growing on the continent. If you look at the country-specific GDP growth, probably apart from South Sudan, we see some promising GDP growth. Kenya 5.4, Rwanda 8.4, Burundi is the highest with 8.6, and the others you can see. Then in terms of foreign direct investment, there has been a slight increase in total foreign direct investment into the East African Community region. we see that most of the foreign direct investment is going to DRC, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. Unfortunately, most of it is into manufacturing. And our interest is to attract foreign direct investment into the agricultural sector and agribusiness. In terms of legal framework, we have the East African Community Treaty as the overall binding framework for cooperation. And we also have the COMESA East African Community SADC Tripartite Free Trade Area Arrangement, which gives us opportunities for even further market expansion. In terms of the investment climate, the investors would access a market of more than 177. Yes, can you hear me?
We don't see your slides, so we are still on the introduction. I don't know who is now going to the next slide. So wait, it's you or it's
it is being controlled.
It's being controlled by Frank. Frank, we are not seeing the slide is stuck of Frank.
Frank, we are at introduction still. So
please, just we are still on introduction. Don't see anything.
Okay. Let me reshare again. I think maybe I had a problem in my computer because for me I was moving the slides.
Can you give it Patrick if you have a challenge because we are not seeing the slides.
Okay. Let me reshare again.
Slides are also not moving from that. Okay, will someone confirm that we are moving on the same page?
Maybe doctor, give me a minute. I share with the communication team at the office so that they can also try to project. I don't know why they're having the issue now because I thought I was projecting.
No, it was stuck on the first page on the introduction.
Okay. Maybe if I also try to reshare my screen now.
Yeah, try. Yeah, it was coming.
So can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So we were on the operating
personally here, I don't
environment.
see it.
But we are on the slide on operating environment. Oh, are you doing? Yeah.
You know, we had reached on legal framework, ESC legal framework. I don't know which slide is that.
So, Doctor, which slide are you on? Slide number 7. Hello, Dr. Catherine, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Just behind that, we hadn't reached that.
Okay, let me reshare again. I think I had a problem.
Yeah, I was on slide number 6.
Okay, so can you see it? Hello, doctor, you can proceed.
Yes, we can now see it. So I hope it will be able to, will be moving at the same pace. Okay, so for since people were not viewing, allow me to repeat that. I was saying that in terms of the operating environment, there is economic growth of the East African community is the fastest in the region, and we gave examples of GDP growth by the partner states. We have 5.5 for Kenya and 8.4 for Rwanda. We can hear noise. Some people mute.
Can Masika, please mute yourself. Masika.
Someone help us by the mute. Maybe can the host mute?
You can proceed, Catherine.
And I was saying, can you hear me, Frank? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can hear you, Catherine.
Oh, okay. So the economic environment, in terms of, we see fast growth. It is the fastest growing in the region. If you look at the different partner states, we see that there is a promising GDP growth, which would be of interest to the investors. But also in terms of foreign direct investment, there's been a slight increase in total foreign direct investment in the region. Most of it is going to DRC, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. However, we note that this is mainly going into the manufacturing sector, and the agricultural sector still has that opportunity. And in terms of the legal framework, we have the East African Community Treaty as the binding framework of cooperation, but also the East African Community is part of the COMESA East African Community SADC tripartite free trade area, which means that actually investors can access a bigger market beyond the East African Community. The next one, we say that in terms of investment climate, the investors can access a market of more than 177.2 million people. East African Community, it has a strategic location. We can access it by sea. We have the natural resources. We have peace and security generally. Then we have simplified investment procedures. And this is largely because of the investment promotion agencies which exist in all the partner states. And each partner state has gazetted export processing zones and special economic zones as avenues for implementing and operationalizing the investment incentives. Then we have abundant labor force, which is educated, trained, it's mobile skilled, and enterprising. But we also have specific East African partner state incentives. And if you can share from that side, if you can share, yeah. You would have to share the whole screen for you to be able to see that. Otherwise, the viewers may not see it because we don't see it here. Frank.
Sorry, so you are referring to the Word document on investment opportunities?
The partner state investment in.
Oh, okay,
which
sorry.
Is there as a hyperlink.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not this. Okay.
so that the viewers can see that.
Maybe you can continue and then we'll try to share later on.
Okay. So yeah. Let me just read from this side to tell you some of the incentives under each of the partner states. Now, the East African community, we have the general East African community general incentives. We have the 35% common external tariff on imported refined palm oil. And that means that the edible oil value chain is particularly attractive. It has specific incentives. But you will find that, for example, Uganda, there will be, we have the export processing zones, incentives of 10-year corporate tax. You'll find Rwanda has 7 years, and each of these respective countries, okay? So in terms of, if we go to the next slide, Frank, it had just come, okay? If we go to the next slide, we can't see your screen. Frank, I'm waiting for you so that we take the audience at the same pace. Okay.
Is that yes?
And here we are. Yes. Here we are looking at the respective investment authorities or investment promotion agencies. In Uganda, we have, in Burundi, we have the Burundi Investment Promotion Authority. We have the Kenya Investment Authority. We have Rwanda Development Board. We have South Sudan Investment Authority, Tanzania Investment Center, Uganda Investment Authority, Zanzibar Investment Promotion Agents, and the East African Community Secretariat, and the East African Business Council, of course, to promote investment in the specific countries of interest. If we look at the next one, please. Frank.
Yes,
you need to enable editing, I think, for it to be able to move.
Can't you see the slide there? Because I've already projected the next slide.
We can't see it. We are still seeing the table.
Okay, let me. I think there's a problem with my network.
You need to enable, and I think I see we need to enable editing.
You can see it now. The investment opportunities.
Yes, we can. So let me give you a second to open those hyperlinks so that you can share them. You can be able to share them, the hyperlinks.
I think there is a problem with opening hyperlinks. They are not opening, apparently. So are they in the folder that you had shared? Because in the folder I only have incentives and
they are in the folder.
Okay. Let me project that. It's in a Word document.
Yeah, it's a Word those are Word documents as hyperlinks. Or alternatively, I also tried to see if great. We can see it. Yeah, let's enable editing. Okay. So in terms of opportunities identified by the value chain, I believe you can now see this table. Okay, it hasn't come yet. Let's give Frank a few minutes to project that.
I thought I was projecting, so I guess today
it came briefly and then.
So you can see it now.
It came and left. It came very briefly, but I think I can proceed. Here we looked at the opportunity attractiveness by the East African. Let me first see. We can't see anything There are two presentations. There are two hyperlinks. One is on the opportunities, and this was by value chain. I think you will allow me to proceed. If
yes,
Frank,
please. Yeah.
then we will be able to catch up on that. So with the edible oil value chain, we have opportunities in production and distribution of quality seed. There is still a challenge in that, but also the commercial production of edible oil crops throughout the growers, because the outgrower schemes are probably not yet very developed, and that gives an opportunity for working through that kind of channel for commercial production. Irrigation software and hardware is still a challenge that could actually cut across. Then we have issues to do with the hiring of sesame seeds. That is an opportunity. We can also look at the livestock feed using the cake from the oil seeds. Also processing of oil from the seeds, import and export business of the seeds and oil. We have opportunities for making paste of sesame and groundnut, manufacture of biofuel, investing in snacks, bread, cookies, pastries. There is also warehousing. We'll see when we come to the challenges, issues to do with the logistics and storage, milling of the soya bean and blending it with the, for making fortified foods and porridges. Then manufacture of soaps. All those are the different opportunities in the edible oil value chain. In the wheat grain, equally we have multiplication of seed, multiplication and supply of seed, and commercial production of wheat, because currently we have, like we mentioned, 70% is coming from Kenya, but in Uganda and Tanzania it is still on a very small scale. So there is an opportunity for commercial production, establishment in the bakery industry, the animal feed plants, export and import of wheat flour, processing wheat flour, production of breakfast cereals, Weetabix, crackers, scones, waffles, pizza, and other baking industries, and also valorization of the wheat straws to get biofuel, and use of wheat straws to manufacture packaging materials. All these are opportunities that can be explored. That is the wheat grain. Then in the leguminous plants, we still have a challenge in the production and marketing of certified bean seeds, cleaning and storage, together with aggregation of quality beans for commercial markets, common bean processing. Also, one can focus on niche and specialized beans, e.g. the pre-cooked beans. Those are also opportunities in the leguminous value chain. We have export marketing of the common beans, production and marketing of groundnut certified seed, extraction of oil from groundnuts, groundnut paste, the roasted groundnuts, the flour, the sauce, and also controlling aflatoxins in groundnuts could be looked at as a separate or complementary business opportunity. In terms of tubers, there's production and marketing of quality seed, like for potato and cassava, making the potato crisps, making potato frozen chips and chilled chips, processing of high quality cassava flour, manufacturing of cassava starch, brewing cassava bean, and also using cassava in the pharmaceutical industries and in the manufacture of bioethanol. Those are still opportunities. Then we look at the fertilizer value chain. Fertilizer manufacturing itself is a good opportunity, especially that we have plenty of raw materials, fertilizer blending and repackaging, organic natural liquid fertilizer manufacturing, warehouse construction and storage, fertilizer importation and distribution, fertilizer making, raw material production, fertilizer analytical laboratories. These are still missing, and making of biofertilizers, buying and selling and developing organomineral fertilizers. This could be some of the existing opportunities in the value chains. Then in terms of attractiveness, yeah, that's what now we have here on the screen. That's what I see on the screen. Attractiveness, we went ahead to identify which of these opportunities are attractive and in which specific partners.
Doctor, the participants are unable to follow your presentation, and it is a very interesting presentation, but they can't. I don't know the challenge with your slides.
The slides are controlled from Frank's side.
So he's not doing it properly. Frank, what is the issue? I said share it with the communication team to do it. If you are,
because now we are on the slide I see is the one we are starting.
So it's not people are unable to follow where you are reading and what is being beamed. Can you do it yourself? Don't you have someone to help you on your side? You do it.
Let me, because that was our starting point. Let me share again.
And another thing, you can even share, upload it on the chat so that people who want to maybe go upload it themselves, they can do it.
So let me. Are you able to see that? Because that's for exactly what I've just finished presenting.
Yeah, I
are
think,
you able?
Sorry, Doctor. I think my colleague Gift was projecting the Word document on attractiveness. So maybe we can just continue with that, unless you have moved to another.
Are we able to see the screen now?
No, your screen is not showing, but Gift was already sharing. Yeah, my colleague was sharing on the attractiveness, so maybe you can proceed with that. So Gift, if you can project the Word document you are just sharing.
Okay. Should I wait for him to?
Yes, he's just sharing. Okay.
Because I think instead of sharing the opportunities, he shared the attractiveness. There's been quite a mix-up. I'm just waiting for him to share the screen. Yes. Okay, so here we are. I say that after identifying those different opportunities in the value chains, we went ahead to identify which country or which partner state is more attractive as far as that specific business opportunity is concerned. So we see that sesame, the commercial production and distribution of cotton seed would be in Tanzania and Uganda, and as we saw, Tanzania and Uganda are the leading producers of sesame in the East African community. Commercial production, it's the same countries, but irrigation system software and hardware can be in all the countries, just like importation, import of and export, as well as making the paste and warehousing. But the other ones we were looking at, like for example, the herding of sesame seed, livestock feeds, manufacturing, processing of sesame oil, and manufacture of biofuel would be most suitable for Tanzania and Uganda, where would have more availability of the raw materials. Then in terms of the soybean, which is still under the edible oil value chain, we see that production can actually large-scale production and production of quality seed can be in all the East African partner states, but oil extraction, oil extraction and manufacture of biofuel would be preferable in Tanzania and Uganda for the same reason of raw materials. When we look at sunflower, which is also part of the edible oil, we see that again, investments can be done in almost all, except for a few commercial production and large-scale sunflower oil seed extraction plants. And skincare products would be preferable in Tanzania and Uganda. Then when we come to the wheat value chain, we see that multiplication and supply of seed can be in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, and Democratic Republic of Congo, because that's where most of the wheat is being produced. But also, all the other countries can have bakeries, animal feeds from the wheat because of the trade that can go on between the partner states. Then we have fertilizers. We see Tanzania and Kenya, they have an advantage even in terms of fertilizer blending and repackaging. And we thought that those which are landlocked could take great advantage in terms of the organic and natural liquid fertilizers like Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda, while Tanzania and Kenya could be having a great advantage in terms of fertilizer manufacturing and importation. The tubers, we see Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, and DRC, and that's almost most of them. We can actually have production and marketing of quality seed, making of chips, and the frozen chips and chilled chips, as well as the high quality cassava flour. Then in terms of the leguminous, again, it is favorable in all the countries, and Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. So that is in terms of which country is most attractive. And we looked at also the viabilities. We have examples in the main report. Can we go to that? Can we go back to the main presentation? The main presentation, the PowerPoint presentation, not the hyperlink. Yes. We go back to the main presentation and we'll go to slide number 10. Slide number 10. And so I was saying that in the main report, we have examples of some of the viabilities, much as we think that once one is attracted to a specific value chain or opportunity, then they should be able to undertake more detailed feasibility analysis. So now we can highlight the challenges. The challenges are mainly, we categorize them into 5. Those related with production and productivity, those that are technology related, post-harvest handling and logistics and storage, then those regarding trade and marketing, and those which are policy related. So in terms of production, the access to financial resources, that limits, it's a big limiting factor as far as production and productivity is concerned. And even at the level of the farmers, you find that they are not able to pay for quality seeds, but there's also limited access to the quality seed. And that's why the production of certified seed, quality seed, was coming up as almost a standard opportunity in all the value chains. Then if we can, we have also, of course, issues to do with rain-fed agriculture. We have frequent weather changes now. We are now very familiar with the concept of climate change, and also low fertilizer use, which limits productivity. And like I mentioned, all these opportunities, next slide, all these opportunities can actually be turned into opportunities. And in terms of technology development and transfer, there is need for extensive research. There isn't adequate research. And also in terms of mechanization and adequate use of ICT-based technologies. So we are still using more of the traditional methods, production methods. We have inadequate irrigation infrastructure, and also the high ownership costs and running costs for most of the agricultural machinery. So that limits uptake and use of fertilizers in our production systems. Next slide on post-harvest. Next, Frank. Thank you. So in terms of challenges, as far as post-harvest management and storage is concerned, again, this is a question of finance, especially things like now cassava and potatoes, which could be perishable. One needs to invest in processes that enhance the shelf life. The collection centers for farmers, and coming up with an entire supply chain. That is the chain. Some of them are not well developed. So you find that also there are issues to do with standards, and farmers are not aware. They may not be aware, leading to a lot of post-harvest losses. But also we find that there could be shortage of supplies, power fluctuations. So those are all issues around the supply chain, and that could be turned into, on the other side, could be turned into opportunities. And then we also have trade-related challenges. Trade, next slide. Now, trade-related, we have in most of these partner states, we have similar industrial capacities and competence in the same segments as far as the global value chains are concerned. So, which in a way limits complementarity. If you saw when we were talking, for example, about the fertilizer value chain, we say that Tanzania and Kenya could focus much more on manufacturing, and then the other countries maybe focus on the organic fertilizers or manufacture of raw materials where the raw materials exist, so that we see more complementarity. Then we also have issues of non-tariff barriers in the form of administrative entry procedures and cost of capital, and that one is still a challenge, but which I'm sure the East African Business Council is taking note of. Then we have the technical barriers to trade, which ultimately now promote informal trade that now puts in place unfavorable competition now for the formal investors. Then we have inadequate infrastructure, especially in terms of poor roads and the railway network. Sometimes also have information asymmetry, and end up getting low prices and market linkages. Those are some of the trade and marketing related challenges. Then the last one on the challenges is policy related. We have some policy gaps, which also they are already being addressed, but not yet fully addressed. We have inadequate infrastructure, especially in terms of cross-border It is still weak. It is still perceived as weak cross-border cooperation, promote trade. The framework is there, but still weak. Then limited capacity of regulating agencies to carry out the duties effectively. There is a lack of clarity and effectiveness of trade and certification procedures. Then there were issues to do with coordination, value chain coordination across the East African community. It would be good if, for example, we talked of wheat in the East African community, wheat value chain. So the coordination mechanisms are still also, they still need to be reinforced. Then we come to the conclusion. We conclude that with increased investment, these identified value chains will be instrumental in creating employment, increasing demand for inputs and services, enhance import substitution, and contribute to more revenue generation for the East African community partner states. There is a number of policy instruments that exist but would need to be harnessed to ensure that the value chains are better coordinated across the East African community and developed. Then attracting investment would require concerted effort from the partner states, the development partners, and the private sector. We think it will not be a role played by only the government or only by the private sector, but it will take a collaborative and concerted effort. And we also still see that there will be need for more detailed opportunity-specific feasibility studies for the identified opportunities. Then we come up with recommendations, and we categorize them like we've mentioned, that it would take the three partners, the development partners, private sector, and the member states to promote investment, and we have recommendations for each. So in terms of the member states, the existing policies need to be implemented, but also to do regular policy reviews and update them. We have them updated. We have the budget. Most of these states are signed up with the Abuja Declaration, but the budget allocation to the agriculture sector in most of the partner states is low, and that is clearly the responsibility of the partner states. And also in developing robust seed production and distribution systems, support formation of effective farmer groups and innovative platforms, improve investment incentives to attract investors, much as we see most of them actually have very favorable investment climate. Support financial inclusion, especially for the smallholder farmers who constitute most of our production workforce, and then strengthening market information and intelligence. So this would be tied into the nation-specific agriculture strategies and sector programs. Then they also need to look at financing, especially in the area of agriculture financing and agriculture insurance. Frank, we are seeing only the front page. We are seeing the, can we go to continue? Yes, we're on that. Yes. So we have support use of agriculture machinery and digital applications that would require a lot of country-specific interventions, human resource capacity enhancement issues to mitigate and in terms of private sector, to support the process of operationalizing the legal and regulative framework of the PPPs and support the process of harmonizing issues to do with the quality standards for the products of the various value chains. Also to work with the breeders and researchers to come up with the technologies that can support government efforts, engagement of communities. And here we are, of course, looking at the strengthening the supply chain systems so that the farmers, the smallholder farmers, and all other players along the value chain, they can get a buy-in to the projects. Also to work closely with the public sector, that is the regulators, especially in addressing the challenges of counterfeit and product quality. Also contributions to financing and creating awareness on agricultural finance mechanisms. Then on the side of the development partners, we recommend offer of financial support to build capacity for the different actors and players along the various value chains. The value chain actors still need capacity building in different kinds of areas, especially issues to do with the creating competitiveness and standards and quality assurance. That is a big issue in the value chains. Then fund more research, even the feasibility studies and development work, provide best practice for policy enforcement and formulation, supporting access to that desired technology, also guide and support the process of institutional coordination and creating policy awareness, implementation, monitoring, and review. Thank you so much. And once again, my apologies for the technical hiccups here and there. I think now I hand over back to the organizer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Catherine, for the presentation, and also to emphasize on the apology. We have had a number of technical issues. So according to our program now, we were supposed to welcome the investment promotion agencies. I have received a presentation from Tanzania Investment Center. So I would like to call upon them if there is anyone who would want to make the presentation. If not, then we can just move to question and answer.
No. Yeah, Frank, I think let's allow participants to first, because the whole essence is first to validate this study before we invite the promotion agents. I think it's prudent we give people time to comment. Also, Catherine to take note of so that he's able to finalize her work. Then we can invite the Tanzania investment promotion. So I think you give people an opportunity to comment on the presentation.
Thank you, CEO. Okay, so the floor is open. You can use the hand raising button to raise your hand, and we'll give you the opportunity to ask your questions or to give your recommendations. You are welcome. Yes, Dr. Nyantai, you are welcome. Doctor, we cannot hear you if you are speaking.
Doctor, you are muted. You are muted. Unmute yourself.
Maybe while we are waiting for Doctor, we can give the room to Alan, who has also raised his hand. Doctor, maybe you can try to sign out and sign in again to see if your device will connect. Alan, you're welcome.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for the lovely presentations. I don't know who this is directed to, but was merely based on the last presentation done. There was something on fertilizers. My interest is mostly organic and natural liquid fertilizers. We have a project that we're working on that produces large sums of organic fertilizer through rabbit urine. However, we've been unable to be linked to the right people to take up that option. I don't know whether the program provides support in identifying potential partners that we can trial our product and build a business case for that as well. Maybe someone could be of assistance. I hope that's a question that's not too difficult to ask. Thank you.
Okay, Alan, thank you. I hope we'll provide an adequate response. So we open the room for other questions. Doctor, I see you're back. Please unmute.
Doctor, you're muted.
You are still muted, Doctor. Maybe you can try to use a different device or.
Can you invite someone else?
Yeah, I saw a hand was raised from someone called Mnali, but I think he has lowered his hand. So we are still opening the room for questions and discussions. Anyone with questions, you are warmly welcome. Yes, KP, can you please voice your concern?
Thank you so much for the great presentations. My name is Deogratas Kapalata. I'm doing the production of virgin coconut oil. So from the presentation I had, I've not seen any point where if they did any study on the coconut, because currently there've been a high value on the coconut oil, and it's very healthy to human consumption. So I don't think the study mostly focused on the coconut as well and the edible oil. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dale, for that. Also, I should take the opportunity to urge you to use our chat box to put in your emails and organizations so that we can later on be able to follow up and send you the report. So you are warmly welcome. Yes, Doctor, you are back again, but now we'll
can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Yeah. Hello?
Yes, you can proceed.
Yeah. Okay. My question was short about I don't know whether it's the government's about was this supposed to be Maputo declaration of 10% to the budgets to agriculture? Why is it not happening? What is the problem? This has been on for maybe over a decade, and nobody seems to be moving there. And we know the importance of agriculture for our economies. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So maybe we can give the room to the consultant to respond to the questions raised, and we'll open up the room again to more questions.
Maybe, Frank, before the consultant, I also just to give some quick feedback on the work to enable the consultant finalize and submit a final. I had a few comments. One was on the challenges. He enumerated the various challenges, and I would appreciate to rank these challenges based on the magnitude and effect on the value chain, so that when we are guiding investors, we say maybe if we handle the storage facility, it would increase the value by this. So I think that is my comment in terms of organizing the work. Then I was also looking at the country, and I think we need to do more on the country potential. Country potential. She mentioned about fertilizer in Kenya. Good to know to know the production vis-a-vis the consumption of the region. She mentioned about Kenya producing 70%, but what is the consumption, the regional consumption? What are we importing and what are we producing within the region? So whoever is investing is guided by such information. Profiling means that you need to know the gap which the investor need to fill. So I think rearranging and giving it the context is very, very important. Another thing that I didn't hear from her presentation was on the regional initiative. The regional initiative, and I know like in Tanzania where I sit, there has been a regional initiative by the government in terms of allocating more land to produce the fertilizers, more land to produce edible oil. What are those current regional initiatives to address the current external shocks and stresses that we are looking at emanating from Russia, Ukraine, but also climate change impact on these sectors? So I think also looking at the regional initiative, what is being done to catalyze and attract investment is very, very important. I think finally also the linkages, how this agriculture is linked to industrialization, is linked to the services. It may be important also to highlight the linkages of the selected value chain in terms of backward and forward linkages with other sectors. So I think those are some of the aspects she needs to look into, but also look into the regional trade in terms of those identified value chain in terms of process, in terms of value addition, as well as processing capacities and capabilities. I think those are my few comments that the consultant need to look into while is finalizing or submitting the final product. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Edie. So back to you, Dr. Catherine, on providing your response based on the issues that were raised.
Okay, thank you, Frank, and thank you everyone for your questions. Alan, excuse me, has a project on rabbit urine and is wondering whether this program would be able to help in identifying potential partners, where I may not be the right person to speak for the project, but I think by being in this kind of forum, I think we need to look at the possible potential partners, and probably further contact can be made with we mentioned in the presentation, the different investment promotion agencies in the respective countries that could be reached out. I also believe that the East African Business Council can also give some more specific advice in that line. Coconut, someone raised the question about the coconut oil. The scope was supposed to be edible oil, but it was broad. So we narrowed down to only a few that we managed to do. Unfortunately, coconut oil was not covered in this study. Doctor mentioned the 10% budget allocation. I think this is part of the recommendations we gave to the partner states as part of the follow-up. And he rightly mentioned why is nobody following up on this. So we need to put the partner states to task and give an explanation or speed up at least this process. I think, again, I cannot speak for government, but that's my personal view. CEO, Mr. Karisa, thank you for the number of issues you've raised. Most of them are to help me improve the report. So that it is more informative for the target audience. And I've taken note of them on the magnitude and effect of these challenges that I've mentioned on the specific value chain, so that the work is better organized. You mentioned fertilizers in Kenya. I don't know whether you were talking about fertilizers or you instead were referring to wheat, but either way, we'll look at the production versus consumption trends, and then how the investment would be able to tap into and closing the gap that is existing. Regional initiatives. I think in that area I need to acknowledge I wasn't very keen on, because they were diverse. You go to Burundi, you find a totally different project, and so, but we may pick a few and which are recent, so that some of the projects we saw were like those that ended some time back, but we can put in little more effort and see some of the ongoing, the most current interventions in attracting investment. And the broader linkage to agro-industrialization, the backward linkages, and issues to do with the regional trade. I think that's what I captured. So from Mr. Karisa, most of them had helped me while making the final report. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And just to emphasize on Alan's question on organic fertilizers, we'll be in touch with him to make sure that we follow up on that engagement to make sure there's more use of this liquid and organic fertilizer. Because as part of this project also is to get some business-to-business engagement. So we believe in our follow-up engagements with him, we'll be able to resolve his concern. So again, I'm opening up the room for any questions. If anyone has questions, kindly you either post them on the chat or you raise your hand to raise your concern. Okay, then. So if there are no any questions for now, maybe let me call on TIC. If there's anybody from TIC who would want to present.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Mr. Mnali.
No, I'm not
Yes.
Mr. Mnali. I am
okay.
Mr. Innocent Kawa. I'm just using the laptop of Mr. Mnali.
Okay. So would you want us to share your presentation or you share it yourself?
You share it yourself on your side.
Okay. So Gift, I had sent you a PDF presentation from TIC. Please, if you can project it.
How many minutes do you want to give me?
Is 10 minutes okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, fine. 10 minutes.
First of all, we would like to apologize for the late joining with you. It was because of technical problems. We had a problem of joining with the Microsoft team, but at last we managed to join.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, now my presentation is going to talk about the overview of selected agribusiness investment opportunity in Tanzania. Another slide. As you can see the picture there, that shows some activities of the agribusiness which are taking place in Tanzania. My presentation is divided, as you can see the agenda. We have the Tanzania Vision, we have the Tanzania Investment Center, we have why you should invest in Tanzania, then we have investment category, which we have, then we have investment opportunity, then we go to the conclusion. Another slide. As you can see, as a country, we have a vision. We have the vision where we want to go. And the vision, the Tanzania is aimed to be the semi-industrialized country by 2025. And the TIC is mandated to facilitate the process of making the country to be semi-industrialized, especially in adding value of the product which we have in the country. Another slide. Another slide. The Tanzania Investment Center is a government agency which has been mandated to coordinate and to promote and to facilitate investment in Tanzania. Another slide. Another slide. And now, why should we invest in Tanzania? We are just encouraging people to come to invest in Tanzania because we give the facility services to our investors. We have 12 institutions who are stationed at TIC to make sure that when investors come here, doesn't need to move from one place to another. We just go to the TIC. And nowadays, all the services are provided online. Another slide. Another slide. Just to show the inflation of Tanzania for the it's almost single digit for the last 2021. The inflation was 3.7, which is good for the inflations, and it encourages productions and the export. Another slide. This is the why we're saying that why should people come to invest in Tanzania? It's because we know political and peace and stabilities, economic stability, natural resources, investment guarantees, strategic locations, and market access. Another slide. In Tanzania, we have 3 categories of investments. We have normal investors, and who is for the foreigner, it's the 500,000, the value of the projects, and for the local, the value of project is 50 millions. And we have the category B, which is the strategic investors. Strategic investors for the foreigner, it's the 50 million value of the projects, and for the local, it's the 20 million. This is the value of the project. And we have the last one, which is the special strategic investor. And the value of the project is the 300 million. This is the big investors. Another category. Now, criteria for strategic investment. I don't want to cover that one. I just want to go to the another slide. Now we have the incentives, physical incentives and non-physical incentives. But that is not our main topic today. To go to another slide. Please go to another slide. This is an overview of the agriculture sector. As you can see, the food crops production, it was 18 million tons. That's the, and non-cereal, it's 7 million tons. Production of the traditional exports, as you can see, it's the 938,000 tons. Production of horticulture, as you can see, 7.5 millions. And whatever, go to another slide. Contribution of agriculture sector. As you can see, economically, the agriculture is contributing 26.1%. That is the data from 2021. Employment, the agriculture is employing almost 61%. And the forex contribution is almost 30% of the foreign earnings are coming from agriculture. And raw material, the sector is contributing almost 65% of the raw material. Another slide. Now, the investment opportunities in agriculture. We are just inviting investors to come and put agro-processing. And when we are saying agro-processing, we are just talking about agriculture and the agro-processing things like fruits and vegetables, tea, cashew nuts, floriculture, pulses, cassava, and whatever. So we are just encouraging investors to come and either they can, in the value chain of agriculture, they can come and cultivate, or they can come and supply farm implements, or they can come and put processing facilities. Another slide. Another slide. Edible oil, yeah. As you can see, we are just encouraging investors to come and invest in edible oil. The country is using a lot of money to import edible oil. We are just importing edible oil, but we have the potential to produce for domestic market, even for the neighboring countries. As you can see the figure, the importation for, we are using almost 83 million US dollar to import edible oil, while we can cultivate our sunflower, sesame, and the other oil seeds. We can produce for the local and even for the domestic, for the foreign markets. So we are just looking for the investor to come and join in the value chain. Now it depends. You just want to establish a big farm for the sunflower, or you just want to come to do processing of sunflower, so that we get the edible oil, or get the food for the animal, or we can produce soap and etc. etc. Another slide. These are cotton and the textile. As you know, Tanzania is very rich in the production of the cotton, but we are not adding value for our cotton. We just export raw cottons. So we are just looking for the investors who can come in the value chain of the cotton. They can produce cotton, or you can process the cotton to get yarn, to get fabric, even to get the garments and the different types of the clothes. So the opportunity is there for the East Africa and for other. Now, sorry, another slide. Sugar. Another slide, sugar. Now, we have opportunity. We are looking for the investors to come and invest in sugar productions. As you can see the figure, we are just still importing the sugar for domestic use, for the table use, and for the industrial sugar. We don't have the industrial sugar here in Tanzania, so we are just all the industrial sugar is being imported. So we are looking investors who can come and invest in the value chain of the sugar, from the sugar plantations to processing. You can process, bring the table sugar or industrial sugar. We have the land which is dedicated for the investors who would like to invest in sugar plantations. We have the land which is dedicated for industrial park for the sugar. So the environment is good for the investors. We are just encouraging them to come and invest in Tanzania. Another slide. Another slide is when to the livestock and the leather industry. We, by the numbers, when we talk about the numbers, Tanzania is the second in terms of the number of the livestock. But when it comes to the processing, we don't process our byproducts of the livestock. Leather industry is still infantry in Tanzania. So we are just looking for the potential investors who can come in Tanzania. Either they can establish a ranch, or they can do processing, either meat processing, leather processing, and the like. Another slide. This dairy farms investment. Another slide. Horticulture. We are just looking for the investors to come and invest in the horticulture. Even on the horticulture, it's the value chain also. We can start the farming. We can have a distribution channel. We can have a storage facility. We can have farm implements and pesticides. The opportunity is large, so it's an investor to decide which area you want to invest. Another slide. That's the fishing and the aquaculture. Another slide. Yeah, that's what I was planning to present for today for the 10 minutes which you have given me. Unfortunately, we were late. We didn't get the previous presentation. Maybe we can, if you can do a favor to send us the study which has been done so that we can look on it and we have a comment. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for the presentation, TIC, and yeah, we will share the study with you. And in that study, actually, there is a key segment where we want to identify, for example, if you are saying that you need investors in sugar. So if you have an area that has already maybe been done, maybe a feasibility study or a location that needs someone to develop, the kind of information that we would really want to get from TIC. So from that, I welcome if there's anyone with any questions or reflections before we move to the last parts of our program today.
Maybe Frank, to thank the representative from Tanzania Investment Center for the good presentation highlighting opportunities. My question is that, are there special incentives accorded to East African investors? I know in some countries, Rwanda and Uganda, the ESC investors are treated as local investors, and they are coded the same like locals. Do you have that provision in your investment code?
For the time being, in Tanzania, the laws does not differentiate the East Africans investor and the other foreign investor, unless only for the work permit and the resident permit. But for other like investment involvement and whatever, that's not for the time being is not covered. It is only covered for the work permit and the resident permit, where the East Africans are treated differently. But for other issues like business license and the permits and whatever, there is no special room for the East Africa partner states. The incentives are just general for the foreigner. The incentive in Tanzania does not differentiate for the foreign and the locals. The incentive is general for the local and the foreigners. Hello?
Yeah, I think that's clear. I wanted because as EABC we asked to provide like a package, and I know in some countries now they have given that national treatment. So you've been able to highlighted that Tanzania does not give that preference to East Africans. So we wanted to clear that, and I think you've able responded.
Okay, so if there are no any further questions, I would just like to take the opportunity to ask all the participants to switch on their video so that we can take a group photo for this event before giving the room to our CEO to officially launch this study. And just to once again emphasize, if you have not written down your email on our chat box, please do so that we can get in touch with you. But I have also provided my email and the email of my colleagues in case you'd want to write to us to provide your inputs or further clarification. You are warmly welcome. So I would call on the communication team to take the photo of the participants. So Patrick and team, if you can confirm. Someone is sharing their screen here, so before maybe Gift, you can assist in muting their video.
Someone from Tanzania Investment, you need to stop sharing.
With me?
Yeah, it is you. I think you have shared your screen.
Yeah, you are still sharing the screen.
That's the technical issue for me. I don't need to know.
Okay.
Where can I put you?
Maybe Gift the operator
could help. It's done. It's off now.
So the communication team, can you confirm if you have taken the pictures?
Patrick, Juliet. But I see if you have put on their cameras, everyone who is on this webinar can put, even including a consultant. Where the Dr. Catherine?
She's there. She has put on the video.
Okay. Maybe it's on my side.
I've put my camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
All participants kindly put on your camera. Switch on your camera on. Smile. One more. Julia, have you been able to capture and gift?
Yes, Patrick.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, then, Mr. Kalisa, I welcome you to just officially launch the study, and also to give you as an information. We'll be following up with the regulatory authorities, the investment promotion agencies, because this information we want to put it up in our website to make it easy to access for other people who are interested to invest in our region. So, Mr. CEO, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Frank, and allow me to take this opportunity to thank and appreciate and congratulate our sponsor, the GIZ SEQUA project, and also appreciate our consultant, Dr. Catherine Tindiwensi, for the excellent work you've done in coming up with this opportunities for investing in agriculture. And also our colleagues from Tanzania Investment Center for the good work you've done in terms of making it easier to do business and invest in the United Republic of Tanzania. And I think when you look at what this profiling has illustrated, we have enormous opportunities we've not exploited. And I think it is within our capacity, competence, skills and resources to do more. And as I mentioned in my opening remarks, it is a shame to see that we are importing goods, especially the agricultural products, when we should be producing them within our economies. So it's a paradox. We need to really disrupt that paradox and be able to feed ourselves as East Africans. We can work with our government through the partnership to address those daunting challenges that the consultant has highlighted, issues related to infrastructure, for the issues related to raw productivity, issues related to standards and SPS measures, issues related to high cost of our capital for agriculture. Those are within our capacity and competence. Our banks are here, they are present, they are listening. This is an opportunity to put money. But also we have investors. People who are keen to do investment in East Africa, especially in agro-processing, because that's where our overriding objective, even for this assignment, is to create employment for East Africa. Job creation should be our ultimate outcome, our intention, our deliberate intention, and also be able to encourage our youth in terms of engaging and appreciating that they can get employment from our agriculture sector. So I want to take this opportunity as a CEO and through the wisdom from my board to officially launch this study on investment opportunities in selected agricultural value chain. Today, Friday, 19th May 2023. Again, this is officially launched.
Thank you, Edie. So with those remarks from our CEO, let me once again thank you all for your participation, and wish you all a wonderful afternoon. And please don't forget to put down your emails, like Mr. Alan, if you could please provide your email and contact in the chat so that we can, okay, I've found it. Thank you. So I thank you and I wish you a good afternoon.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Frank, and I want also to take this opportunity to invite all the participants for our upcoming event in Uganda on trade and investment opportunities in the EAC, where we will be showcasing such investment opportunity in various sectors of our economies, and all investment promotion agencies across the region will be present. And that is started for 30th August to 1st September in Uganda, in Munyonyo. We invite everyone to participate, and Patrick will be sharing with you the invitations, and we look forward to host you in Uganda. Thank you very much, and I want also to join Frank by wishing you a very, very good weekend and a very good afternoon. Asanteni sana, be blessed all.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you too. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Thank you, Michael.